So this morning's class, and actually this series that I'm planning for the next few weeks, is just to move through the chakras, starting at the root chakra and working our way up through the 7 chakras. And I know that in this group, there's a lot of experience with the chakras. So at the end of class, if you have anything you'd like to add, please do chime in. I've found this wonderful book that some of you might know. It's called Chakra Yoga, and it really offers a lot of great postures, how to interweave yoga with postures. And I just wanted to share this visual for anyone who might be a little bit new to the chakras. So there's 7 chakras that are like, it's like a tube of energy that runs from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown. And each chakra has a different color that's associated with it, and different mantras, sounds, and different attributes. So the postures that we'll do will kind of enhance whichever chakra we're working on for the week. So this week is going to be the root chakra at the very base of the spine, kind of around the area of the perineum. So if you're trying to picture it, in that very lowest base of the spine position, and then find a comfortable seat as you take in this quote that just is a little expression of the chakras and how they work with energy in our body. You might allow your eyes to close, or just find your comfortable seat. And the author writes, each chakra needs to be able to receive energy from outside, to assimilate that energy into the body-mind complex, and to express or discharge energy. This means that each chakra has a kind of gateway where energy enters and leaves the chamber, as well as a core center where energy is assimilated and distributed through the body. So I like that description because it helps us to picture how if we get really stuck in any part of our body, like we can think of it if we have an injury in like a joint area, it slows us down. And the same is true for our chakras. If we get stuck in one part of our body, it's hard for the energy to move through that tube, kind of moving all the way up and down the channels. So that's what the goal is, always to have a balanced flow of energy moving through our bodies. And hopefully this practice today will help us find that. So if you allow your eyes to close, or a gentle gaze, we'll just tune into our root chakra at the base of the spine, around the area of the perineum. The root chakra is called the Muladhara Chakra. It's our connection to earth. It helps us feel our solid position on the earth, feeling the pull of gravity. We experience this root chakra through our feet, our legs, our bones, and the large intestine is really connected to the root chakra. In our yoga poses, we can tap into this root chakra when we picture having roots from our feet into the earth. When we push down with our feet or any part of the body that's making connection to the earth. When we surrender to the gravitational pull of the earth. When our root chakra is deficient or undernourished, we might feel scattered or ungrounded. And when it's excessive, we might feel heavy and lethargic, hard to motivate. So through today's practice, we'll try to find a balance between being rooted and connected to the earth, but also being able to feel the energy comes when we push into the earth and we rise from there. So let's bring our hands to heart center, allowing your chin to bow towards your heart, head to heart. The vowel sound for the root chakra is the sound O. So we'll chant O together if you'd like to join in on the chant. We'll take one full round of breath in and out first. So inhaling into the low belly, exhaling. And then we'll inhale. Feeling the vibration of the chant work its way down right to the base of your spine. Picturing the color red, connecting you here to the earth. And keeping this sense of connection now, let's move our cushions out of the way and come to lying flat on your back with your feet on the floor, knees bent. And right away from this position on the floor, let's lift the knees to the chest and just start with your hands on your knees, some sacral circles. Imagining that your sacrum is the face of a clock and you can slowly touch into each hour on the clock as you roll through your circles. And then changing the direction of your circles here. And then let's extend both legs long, arms reach long, feeling this big stretch at the start of the day. Inhaling here, exhale, left knee comes to the chest. Maybe making some circles with that left knee, warming up all the fascia around the hip joint. And then finding your strap, hopefully your strap is nearby, or using a sweatshirt or a towel, you can put a strap around the base of the left foot. Strap can be held in both hands and just start with bending or pointing and flexing that left foot, warming up the ankle, really feeling into the base of that foot. Imagine that your your right leg is standing on the ground. Your right foot is really energized and engaged and pushing into the ground. And here your left foot is out at a 90-degree angle from the ground. Feeling the energy, even though we're on the earth, feeling the energy that could come from pushing in to the earth with that right foot, energizing, drawing energy up. And then switching the strap to the left hand. Right hand can come to the right hip to remind that right hip to stay grounded. Let's inhale at center and exhale. The left leg falls out to the left, any amount. Making sure that right leg is still really active. You can feel the quad pulling towards the bone. Again, feeling like you're standing on the earth with that right foot. Helps to open in the left hip area. Inhaling to center, switching the strap to the right hand. Left hand comes out to the side. And then exhaling that the left leg can move to the right, maybe only a few inches to feel a big opening in that IT band behind the knee along the outside of the left thigh. Breathing here, remembering still to be standing through that right leg, active right leg. And then let's inhale to center. Right leg comes up to switch feet in the strap with the left. Left leg can be flat on the floor if you have any sensitivity in your low back, or extend that left leg long. Let's start by just pointing and flexing in that right foot, warming up that right ankle, maybe making circles with that right foot. And then standing now, the left leg, imagining the left leg is standing on the earth, really awake and alive. Left toes are pointing towards the sky. Left hand can come to the left hip. As we inhale at center, exhale, right leg moves off to the right. Right elbow can come to the floor. Feeling the dynamic stretch between that left leg, imagining contact with the earth, and then energy out through the right toes, the right leg. And inhaling, right leg to center, switching the strap into the left hand. Pausing here before moving the right leg to the left, maybe only about 6 inches, 8 inches, before you're feeling that big stretch in the IT band. Breathing, noticing if you're still aware of where your left leg is in space. Inhale to center, removing the strap, putting the strap off to the side. That right knee can come to the chest. And making some circles with the right knee here at the chest. And then let's bring both feet flat on the floor, setting up for a bridge pose. So hands are reaching towards heels, feet are in line with the hips. Lots of choices here. I like to bring my elbows right close to my ribs and have fingertips pointed towards the sky, like robot arms. The invitation here is to really root down through all 4 corners of the feet and feel energy moving on the inner leg lines, up the inner thigh, so that on an inhale, we're pushing down through the arches of the feet as the hips lift. And then you might choose to walk shoulders in. if that's safe in your shoulders and your back. So you're feeling an opening along your sternum. The backs of the upper arms are really pushing into the ground, feeling connected. Fingertips might wiggle, feeling the connection through the arches. The lift is coming through that, pushing down into the earth and the feet. Hips lift, chest opens to the sky, feeling this very connected posture, connected to the earth, but also lifting here. Quite a balance. One more inhale, exhale, shoulders walk out one vertebra at a time. Spine comes back to the earth. Let's let the feet walk wide apart and knees to come together. Hands can be on the belly. Pausing here. Imagining again your root chakra, color red. Helping us to stay grounded and solid when we might feel scattered. And then however it works for you, you might come through rocking or just coming to sitting and spinning around on your mat. So you're lying on your belly, setting up for a locust pose, belly down pose. So finding your way onto your belly. Let's just pause here with hands, forehead on the hands, just to feel first your connection to the floor in this belly down posture. Unless you sleep on your stomach, you might not have this experience too much. This can be a very grounding pose, feeling the front of your body on the floor. Very restorative to the nervous system. Then let's move hands towards the hips. So hands are reaching back towards the feet. We'll take this pose in stages here, unless this is a pose you're comfortable with and you want to move right into locust pose. We'll first ground down through the toes and toenails click into the floor. We'll inhale, pushing into the pelvis. We'll lift head, shoulders, arms, and then legs lift last if you're that safe in your low back. And then exhale, everything releases. We'll try this 2 more times. So build the pose in any way that works for you, maybe just lifting head and shoulders or just legs. So inhale, pelvis pushes into the floor, lifting into locust, feeling the connection in the earth to the earth. You might feel some rocking as you breathe here. Toes are bright and extended, shoulders lift towards ears and then settle on the back, and let's exhale, everything releases. Really let everything go here between sides. Last time, we'll start with really feeling the pelvis engage to the floor as we inhale, lifting arms and legs, being sure not to go too far if you're feeling any straining in the low back. Shoulders engaged along the back. Chin is slightly tucked so you're not overextending in the neck. Fingertips wiggle, toes wiggle. Exhale, hands come again beneath the forehead, resting your forehead on your hands. Let's bend the feet towards the sky and then windshield wiper the feet back and forth, releasing low back. Feel your belly, feel the breath deep in your belly. And then hands slide back towards ribs, setting up for a cobra pose. Let's really feel the shoulders lift towards the ears and then shoulders slide down, engaging in the back. You can really feel the shoulder blades pulling towards each other. We'll click the toenails into the floor, pelvis engages on the floor as we inhale, lifting head and shoulders. See if you can lift your hands off the ground so that the lift is really coming from the core. And then hands come to the floor, lifting maybe a little higher, toes pushing into the floor, elbows reaching towards ribs, feeling your roots here, connection to the earth. Exhale. Let's push ourselves back now into child's pose. Knees can be wide on your mat, toes come together. Resting here in child pose. Feeling your breath expand along the back side of your body in this resting posture. Deep breaths. Let's take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth with a big sigh. Ah. And then hands come out front and setting up for coming into a downward dog. Move my blanket out of the way a little bit. So toes curling under, fingertips really engaging here. If the pads of the fingers and the fingertips are engaged, it takes weight off of the wrists. So be thinking of that as your toes are curling under. Inhale, hips lift into downward dog. See if you can push through all the pads of your fingers, and if that creates a little space for your wrist. Walking your heels out here, your downward dog. Maybe both heels move to the right side of the mat, bending the knees to feel a big stretch along the left side body. And then inhaling through center, heels drop to the left, knees bend, big stretch, right side of the body. Maybe your gaze is under your left armpit. Inhaling to center, and then we'll slowly walk our feet towards our hands, finding our way into Uttanasana, forward fold. Feet are hips width distance apart or wider, nice bend to the knees here. Really feeling the upper body making contact with the thighs. And then we'll take a very slow inhale to standing, letting the upper body hang heavily, feeling gravity almost pulling through your fingertips and your forehead as you begin to stack one vertebra over the other, coming slowly, slowly to standing. Feeling as you lift that your feet are pushing into the earth, that dynamic push and pull. Head is the last to lift. Let's take a minute here in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Really look at your feet. Imagine you could make a box with your feet across the toes, down to the heels, four corners of the feet, maybe rolling front to back to feel the front to back corners, and then from side to side, really experiencing all four corners of the feet. And then imagining that you could have those roots really extending from your feet, really reaching into the earth, looking for water, looking for nutrients, going in all directions, pulling you down. But then as you feel that pull down, you're also feeling a rise, a lift coming up through your calves, your knees, your thighs engaged on the femur, slight tuck of the hips, and then shoulders move towards the ears and shoulders slide down the back. Fingertips are engaged, head is over the shoulders, gaze is straight ahead, Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Connected to the earth, but rising, feeling the sun from the sky. Let's inhale, arms lift here. Exhale, hands can move through center or by the sides into your forward fold. Let's inhale the halfway lift, flat back. And then exhale, left foot steps back and left knee comes to the floor. You can pad that knee with a blanket or a pillow. And just finding a little motion in the hips here, rocking back and forth to start. And then inhaling, hands come to the right thigh. And then if you have farther to go, those hands can move overhead. Feeling a nice opening in that left hip flexor, knee down, lunge pose. Feeling your feet really connecting into the earth here. And then exhale, hands can come to the sides. If you have blocks, this is a really nice place to use blocks to set up for a runner's lunge. So I'll shift my screen a little bit so you see what I'm doing here. That your right foot's going to slide forward, right toes point towards the sky. And feeling into this deep stretch in the back of the right leg. You can shift your weight back and forth here and modify any amount that you need to make this pose feel comfortable in your body. I like to imagine the pinky toe of the right foot is peeling back towards the hips, and that really makes a different opening in the back of my right leg. So pinky toes of the right foot are peeling out almost like they could reach back towards my right hip. And then that right foot's going to come back to the floor. Blocks can move to the side. We'll curl the left toes under and bring the left toes to meet the right. Inhale, arms lift to stand. And then arms come to the side. We're going to do a little breath work here where we'll inhale and the knees bend into a squat. So knees are tracking right over the feet. And as we exhale, we're pushing down with the hands, pushing down like we can push into the earth, and feet are pushing into the earth. So we'll inhale, hands lift towards the chest. Exhale, pushing away, everything away. We'll do this a few times. Inhale brings us into the squat. Exhale, pushing away. Can feel like you're pushing against your energy field. Feet are engaged. Ha. Let's add the ha breath. So we'll inhale. Ha. Inhale. Ha. 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 Okay, next time we'll shake that out here, and we're going to step you guys are standing facing forward on your mat, so we're going to step the left foot out to the side, setting up for goddess pose. So toes are pointed towards the corners of the mat. Feet are at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms come lifting. And we're sinking into our goddess here. Like you have a weight almost dropping right from your pelvis, pulling you towards the earth. But then as you push with your feet, you're really feeling that energy bringing you upright. Breathing here, maybe rocking side to side. Let's try inhale, releasing a little bit from your goddess, and exhale, sinking farther in. Inhale brings you up slightly. Exhale a little more deeply. Taking care to protect your back here. Notice if you're rolling to the inside of your feet, maybe the outside of your feet. Can you really stay grounded in the four corners of your feet? Next time we inhale to straight legs, hands come to the heart, leaning into that left foot as we step our feet back to the front of the mat. And setting up here for a tree pose. So left foot becomes a standing foot. Right toes find the floor, maybe find the calf or nestle up higher in the thigh. Even in tree pose, can you feel that push of wherever your right foot is landing on your thigh, feeling that engagement, that push of energy from the bottom of the foot into your leg or maybe into the floor. Let your arms become branches, any expression of tree pose here. Noticing the movement that's inherent in a balancing posture. The movement is where the life is, the energy. We can be grounded and still fluid. Tara Brach says, strong back, soft front. We can be solid and connected and strong, but still receive the fluidity that life throws at us. Exhale, that right foot comes back to the floor, hands come to heart center. Pausing here, letting the eyes close or gentle gaze. Tuning back into your Muladhara root chakra. Let's let the hands release and then inhale, arms lift. Gazing towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. On your next inhale, the right leg steps back and right knee comes to the floor. Feeling some movement now, rocking back and forth here. Little movement in the hip joints. Then hands can walk to the thigh, pausing here. Making sure that you took time to pad that right knee if you needed to. And then inhaling, hands lift. Noticing right away if you go into a really big extension here in your lift, can you bring it back so your ribs are engaged, not jutting out? Your core is engaged. You're pushing down through your feet to help with that lift through the core. Almost feel like you could push down so you could almost rise right up here. Dynamic energy moving in both directions. Exhale, hands come to frame that left foot, setting up for runner's lunge, maybe with blocks if you have them. Sliding the left heel out a few inches and left toes point to the sky. Blocks can move back any amount. I like to really swing the hips here from side to side to kind of get a sense of opening through the sacrum. And again, let's imagine now the left toes, the pinky toe of the left foot could peel back towards the left hip. I feel that, making sure that we have a little bit of a bend in the left knee. I feel that strongly in the back of my left leg. Woo-wee. Awake and alive. And then that left foot comes back to the earth. We'll make sure the right toes are curled under, lifting the knee of the right leg. We'll step the right foot up to meet the left. Inhaling, Arms lift to standing. Exhale, hands move to the sides. Feet come a little wider than hips width distance apart. We're setting up for these bioenergetic squats now. So we inhale, bend into a slight squat, arms come about rib level. Exhale, pushing down through the arms, pushing down through the feet, feeling that resistance of energy. Inhale brings you to a squat. Exhale, push. So I'm really feeling my quads engaged. My knees are engaged here. Knees are tracking right over the feet. Let's add the ha breath if you want. Inhaling, ha, ha, ha. Connection to the earth, ha. Feeling gravity, ha. Bring that to stillness. We'll step, this time the right foot steps out to the side, setting up for goddess pose. Feet are at a 45-degree angle. Arms come also at a 90-degree angle here. We'll inhale at center, exhale, lowering into goddess. Let's inhale, lift slightly, exhale, lowering into goddess. Again, here, can you feel where your pelvis is in space? Have you gone into a sway back? Can you tuck your pelvis in, engage your core? Where are your roots? Can you feel the energy coming from the earth, pulling up through your legs? And then hands can come to hips as we lean our weight into the right leg here, just step the right leg towards the front of the mat. Setting up now for tree pose. Right leg becomes the standing leg. This is a great place if you have a wall nearby. I've got lots of wall space now I can play with in this area. So using a wall if you need to. Left toes can come to the floor, resting on the ankle, maybe on the calf, or nestling up into the thigh. Feeling that push as you push the foot towards the center line and then root down through that right leg, your standing leg. Allow your branches of your tree to grow and extend any amount. Feeling that right foot, the tiny movements that have to happen in that right foot to keep you standing, right? It's fascinating, all those bones working together, energy coming from the earth up that right leg. Let's exhale, very mindfully coming out of your pose here, allowing the left foot to find the earth. Pausing here. Again, bringing your root chakra to mind. Color red. Can you be grounded and connected now, but open enough to receive the energy, not holding so tightly that you're blocking off? Picturing energy now moving up through that first chakra all the way up the tube of your central energy channel, touching in, reaching for the crown. Let's lift the hands up through that central energy line, imagining all the colors of the rainbow mixing overhead as your arms move to the side, mixing now all those colors through your energy field, coming into forward fold, pausing here. If it's safe in your knees, to move through a squat pose, allowing your toes to point out wide as your hips drop into squat, maybe using a block or a pillow under your hips. And then finding yourself seated again, this time in a cross-legged position. If that works in your knees. So maybe pulling in a little pillow or a blanket under your hips here. Doesn't matter which leg is crossed in front. If this doesn't work in your body to sit in this way, you can try a cobbler's pose with the legs out as far as you need. But we'll start here. And we're just going to walk the hands forward slightly and pause. We're working towards feeling opening in the outside of the hip on either side, whichever leg is in front. You might feel that opening a little more on that side of the hip. So yeah, we're just leaning our weight forward. I don't have to lean too far forward before I start to feel an opening there. If you have farther to go, you might walk your hands out farther and let your head relax. Noticing here all the parts of your legs that are touching into the earth. Inhale might bring you some extension, and your exhale might find you can walk yourself a little more deeply into the pose. Again, this can be a very upright posture if that's where your hips are today. No shame in that. And then we'll inhale all the way to center. Let's exhale the legs straight out in front and tap the legs, the backs of the knees on the floor. And then switching the cross of your legs. So if I had my left leg in front last time, now I'm going to bring my right leg in front. Setting up for the same thing on the opposite side. So just finding your center to begin with. Noticing where your legs and ankles and feet are touching the floor. If any discomfort sitting this way, you could pull blankets and pillows to be under your knees to give you a little support, more support here. And then allowing fingertips to walk out in front any amount, even just pausing as soon as you feel that first tug in the hips, pausing there, going inward, inviting breath and opening. It's a gentle invitation, not a coach with a whistle standing over you and forcing you in. Inhale might bring some extension. Exhale brings you a little more deeply into the posture, letting the head bow to the heart here. In any of these postures where we can bow our head to our heart, we're acknowledging the wisdom of the heart, letting it have more room to guide us in our day, guide our decisions, guide our speech. We can bow our heads to our hearts anytime of the day when we remember to do it. Remember our heart wisdom. Give our brains are really trying so hard, right, to help us and to manage our lives. And thank your brain. Thank you, brain. You can have a break. Let my heart move forward into the space. Help guide my choices. Let's walk ourselves back up to seated here. And if you have a bolster or a pillows, you may and you may want to try this supported child's pose with a bolster. If you've tried this before and it didn't really work for you, you can come into child's pose your own way. And it might be that you need a couple of different pillows and things here. One way to do it is to pull your pillow right up onto your thighs, close to your belly. One pillow can go there, and then another pillow or block or blanket can come a little farther down to support your head. And you can adjust this as you move through, but allow your knees can spread a little bit wide still in this position. And then you're just folding over, moving your props around in such a way that it feels comfortable and supported to be here. You can have your forehead flat on the pillow or turn a cheek to one side. Your arms can nestle around your pillows, kind of hugging them in close. Really falling into this posture of surrender. Letting yourself be supported and held. Allowing your exhales to come through your mouth, maybe with a sigh. Oh. If you have your head turned to one side, maybe turning to the other cheek. Noticing any places you might be able to let go a little more. Maybe your jaw, maybe the muscles around your eyes, maybe somewhere in your belly. Ah. And then moving very slowly here, allowing your eyes to stay softly closed. We'll be moving onto our backs for figure 4 pose before Shavasana. So if you know you want to put on another layer right now, this would be a good time to do that. Eventually finding your way onto your back with your feet flat on the floor. And taking your time to catch up when you're ready. But if you're ready to start moving into figure 4, we'll lift the left leg towards the sky. And then I like to have the left toes point out to the left to have that external rotation of the thigh before I bend the left foot over the right knee. And then you get to decide. This might be quite enough of an opening in your left hip, left glute, or the right foot can lift off the ground. You might pause here, or hands can weave behind that right thigh. Perhaps some gentle rocking from side to side here would bring the opening in that left hip even more deeply. And then right foot comes to the floor, left foot extends to the sky, and then slowly that left foot can lower to the floor. Left heel slides up to meet the right foot in bent knee position. And then we'll inhale the right leg towards the sky. Maybe just take some internal, external, rotational movements here. I like actually doing this even lying in bed in the morning. It feels really good to just bring this movement into my hips before I get out of bed. Maybe roll that ankle out a little bit on the right side. And then next time the right toes are pointed to the right, we bend the right knee over the right ankle over the left knee. And notice, is this enough today? Right here, is this all I need? Or maybe left leg lifts off the ground. That might be all you need. Or hands can come behind that left leg. Notice if your breath changes as you come into this position. Our breath can often be the signal when we've gone too far. If we can't breathe fully or if we're holding our breath, that's a sign. Back it off. Maybe rocking from side to side here. Imagining your breath could have like tendrils, little vines. Breath is reaching into tight muscles, into fascia, bringing space and energy, nourishing and cleansing. Let's exhale that left leg to the ground, inhaling the right foot towards the sky. Take a few more ankle circles here in both directions before you watch that right leg lower slowly, slowly to the ground, feeling the energy coming from the foot back into the hip as you lower. And then that right heel can come to meet the left foot. And making a decision here, what would serve you best for your Shavasana today? Maybe legs up the wall, maybe lying on your belly if you enjoyed that towards the start of the class today, setting yourself up for a comfortable belly down position, maybe moving a bolster under your knees. Taking a minute just to check in with yourself. What would feel really good for our Shavasana today? Bringing in blankets, maybe something to cover your eyes. As you, wherever you find yourself, maybe rocking your head from side to side to find a neutral alignment for your neck. Feet can do the same thing. And then allowing yourself to melt into the earth. Feeling both that downward flow where your body becoming one with the earth that supports you, and also the earth is coming up to meet you wherever your body touches the floor, like a gentle hug from the earth. Tendrils coming up from the earth to hold you, nourish you. finding your deep rest. Finding your breath again, noticing the breath along the back of your body, choosing maybe to stay here in your Shavasana, or bringing some movement to your fingers and toes without rushing, holding on to this experience of deep rest. maybe moving to a side lying position. And eventually back into a supported seated position, or staying in Shavasana. Taking your time to make sure that you sit, sit comfortably, using pillows and blankets to support yourself as needed. Allowing your right hand to come to your heart and your left hand over your right. Chin bows towards chest, head to heart, as you let these words from our beloved Amanda Gorman, Youth Poet Laureate, wash over you. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. So knowing that through the support of the earth and the ground beneath us, we too can weather storms, coming back to the earth for support when we need it. Maybe hands coming to prayer position, thumbs touching forehead. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste, and thank you for practicing this morning.